nice mixer or something like that, to help you out,
I
dude.
need a cocktail.
Paint the fence.
Paint the fence. Okay. Welcome to a very special TV episode of Three and a Half Gentlemen, the podcast, where three of the four hosts provide a refined and intellectual analysis of movies from our private collections and TV shows. And we'll decide which host is which, but for now, my name is Sean, and with me, as always, are my fellow vacationing besties, Jeremiah.
Can I just be rich for 5 fucking minutes, yo?
Eddie.
I think I saw God.
And Brandon.
There is no resolution to life's questions.
Damn.
I feel like that pretty much sums up White Lotus.
That was
right
right there.
Pretty good. I like all of it. Throughout season 6, we're going to be talking about several different TV shows, starting with The White Lotus, season 3, the hit show on HBO Max.
As with every review we give, our goal is to answer one simple question. How many drinks does it take to get through the film, or in this case, the show that we just watched? Now, at the end of the podcast, we'll rate each episode based on a scale of 0 to 5, with 0 being a perfect episode that you can watch stone cold sober, and 5 being sort of the episode that makes you feel like you are basically any character in White Lotus Season 3 except for Mom and Pop, Ratliff, and the 3 frenemies.
With that, what episode do we have tonight?
Well,
my friend,
we have made it our way through season 3 of The White Lotus. And The White Lotus takes viewers into and behind the scenes of the swanky White Lotus Resort. Seasons 1 and 2 took us to Hawaii and the Sicilian coast, respectively. And with the third coast, we've been hanging out in the heart of Thailand. With the final episode, we have the shit hitting the fan for basically everyone, as well as answers to the questions we've been asking throughout the last 7 weeks. Now, as of this recording, this episode has received a score of 8.1 on IMDb and an average critic score of 87% and an audience score of 79% on Rotten Tomatoes for the season. And as with every episode I've noticed in the last little bit, we have been steadily declining.
I think the whole season has been a steady decline. I think that's safe to say for everybody.
Every week I keep changing those numbers and they keep going down.
There's a couple of things that I want to cry. I want to throw my hands up in the air, and I want to say George Costanza is right and vindication on a couple of things. The first being that one episode or even one scene from one episode can totally alter your view of a certain character or a cluster of characters. And in this case, I think Carrie Coon's monologue and her breakdown at the table totally changed my opinion of the Real Housewives of Thailand. It totally changed my view of their whole vacation together. And in a lot of ways, I think of the 3 storylines or 4 storylines going on, that one was the most redemptive. That one was the most I felt changed for the better. And it was nice to see. It was nice to see her kind of open up like that and break down. And it just shows you how good of an actress Carrie Coon really is.
Oh, yeah.
I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah.
So I was going to say it was overdue. Okay. So it was a little bit overdue, but out of the 3 housewives, she's the one that could carry that scene, and she did it well. So I agree with you, Sean, with that. But I want to say the top out of you're forgetting the Belinda's story plot for me personally, because I feel like her story plot was probably the highest.
I combine that into the staff, so 4. That's what I was saying. I'm sorry. Yeah.
So I was thinking her character, and then also Guy Talk technically, but Belinda came out with $5 million richer. So I was thinking it was way long overdue. But overall, I do like Carrie Coon's, her whole speech made me, like, she opened up real quickly, because they were all still having like a superficial layer. The 2 other friends, like, oh, this is amazing. Thank you. This all, and then she opened up, you can tell, like, and it definitely brought everyone like, oh shit, we are talking for real right now. And it was nice to see that on TV.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that I echo a lot of what I've read about and seen over the last couple of days. And that's that she gave an Emmy award winning monologue right there. And I mean, honestly, hand her the trophy because she deserves it. It's a mark of how good of an actress she is to take words on a script and to bring that emotional layer. I am going to disagree though with both of you guys. I thought that it was kind of a strange attempt to band-aid up a storyline that I thought was actually really good. It just was kind of pointless in the length of the season. I don't see it as making up for a week of them bitching and nagging and stabbing each other in the back and complaining about things. I know that friends, they butt heads. I get that. We do it. The best friends butt heads oftentimes the most. That being said, to make up this monologue that basically says, you're there for me and I'm there for you and I'll always love you and all this other stuff. To me, it contradicts so hardcore with what we saw for the whole 7 weeks.
That's not what I got out of the monologue.
You didn't?
The monologue it wasn't about love. No, it was about consistent failure of a character in every aspect of her life. She failed at marriage. She failed at her job. She failed at kids.
But then she had the rock with them.
It wasn't about love. She love? It was about consistency. And it was about that through thick and thin, these people have stayed with her. And that's how she's able to measure her success in life, is by being able to keep these friends and by judging her life on that moment and not all her rest of her failure. And that's what I got from it.
One of the things she said, Brandon, was, I'm happy to be at the table. I'm happy to even be at the table with you guys.
Look at what happened over the previous 7 days.
Like, I'm even happy to be at the table with you guys.
Right, but look at what happened over the past 7 days with that relationship. To me, that was another failure in her life, that she failed as being a friend with them, and they failed as being friends with her. And to me, it was glossing over everything that happened for the previous season.
It just reminded me of that saying, like, comparison is the thief of joy. Carrie Coon's performance on that literally saved that whole storyline for me personally. It literally came out of left field too in a lot of ways, where I was like, because like 5 minutes before she was looking at those two girls with just anger, and all of a sudden it just came out of left field. You're like, okay, cool. It didn't seem like she was she made peace with anything. It looked like she was just like looking at them from afar and just looking like, just disappointed or something. And maybe it's disappointed at the way she acted. Mm-hmm. But Carrie Coon is one of the most talented actresses out there today, and I'm finally glad that they made use of her character to showcase what she can do. I just wish there was more of that, of just her leading that group of friends.
If you're gonna want more Carrie Coon, flip on over to HBO's Gilded Age.
Oh, and she's fucking amazing.
That's
one of the best shows.
Leftovers. Rock star.
Yeah,
Leftovers was good, but that's 10 years ago, Brandon.
Good. Leftovers is my number one.
They each have their own shit, right? Like they both, Leslie Bibb and Michelle, they each have their own wall up. And Carrie Coon's character made it seem like, hey, like I'm watching you guys have your shit together. I start seeing my failures all the time, and I just like I'm happy to even be at the table. But then she knows that person and that person, they also have something that they're hiding, but she's not talking about that. She's talking about herself. She's being real. She's being a little bit real. So I feel like that was a moment where both the friends, they were like they were almost vulnerable a little bit, like, okay, well, like I see, like I also have shit I need to work on. But they didn't say anything, but they said, I love you. But you can see in the, I love you. Like I feel this, and I feel like, trust me, I love you. I haven't said anything. I haven't told them about what I'm really going through, but I love you. It was over. Well, I said it was overdue.
Contradicted what we saw with them, and I just feel like that storyline.
So it didn't contradict it. No. So here's what I saw. I saw a character totally and unequivocally try and tear those three down. She was like, I'm going to go do my own thing. I'm not going to play the game. I'm going to be my own person. I'm going to go sleep with, I'm going to go to the Muay Thai. I'm going to sleep with whoever I want. And she self-sabotaged herself like she's done throughout her whole life in every other aspect. And still they were there. And still Michelle Monaghan said, I want to be friends. It's this idea that friends can forgive each other and they can still be together even when one of them fucks up royally. It doesn't matter. There's always a forgiveness, because honestly, there's a statistic, right? So if you're friends for more than 7 years, the fact is you're going to probably be friends for life. Like it's 90-something%. And it's because you fucked up in those 7 years. And it's okay because we forgive you and we want to be your friend because your fuck up is less than the value of your friendship. You've put so many coins over here in your friendship that the fuck up doesn't even come close.
So you're saying the one character out of the three girls kind of saves the whole storyline because it just
100%.
seems like I don't know if it saves the whole storyline because honestly, I expected more from Michelle and I expected more from Leslie. Like Leslie, what was her point there?
I agree with you, Jeremiah. I don't think that necessarily that it saved the storyline, but I think that it redeemed at least part. It did everything it could to save the storyline, even if it didn't get there. It did everything it could.
That's probably the vibe of what I got to on that. I'm just like, okay, you know.
And that's kind of the vibe I got from the episode, right? Is that it tried really hard to fix everything.
It showed a really true good side of friendship. I mean, it's like, okay, like these girls, they might like actually like talk shit about each other in the background and stuff, but it showed a good side of friendship of what you're looking for long-term friends.
Now, granted, I mean, if there was a shootout, I don't think they will be like on the boat right after that, you know, just like they would have to stay there for a little while for like.
I'd be like, hey, I need another week until I need another week. First of all, send me somewhere I'm not going to sweat. So like Hawaii or somewhere nice, maybe the Sicilian coast.
Okay, can I ask you guys something? This part was bothering me, and Hannah mentioned this to me. What was the point of Leslie Bibb's character calling out Parker Posey's character at the beginning of the show, saying that they know each other?
Zero.
Like, why would you throw? Why was that there? You know,
what was the point?
To throw a monkey wrench.
What was the point of the hear no evil, see no evil connections and the powers of three? You know? I mean, how many roads did we go down?
And then the thing is that, you know, are you telling me that character somehow has her phone and doesn't see anything that's happening, the whole situation?
She was on her phone the whole time.
The whole time. And not mention about it?
Why are the Ratliffs the only ones allowed to have phones, but everyone else had a fucking phone? You start realizing this. I read this. Everyone else has a phone.
Choose.
Yeah, but no one else was like looking at the Ratliffs like
oh my gosh,
this person's in for embezzlement. Like he's sitting right here.
This is crazy. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure that. Okay, I'm going to defend this writer.
Everyone had their phone besides them.
No, but I'm not sure that the Ratliff part of the embezzlement scheme was that big. He sounded like a small partner in a big scheme. So you don't really. I could see how he wouldn't be necessarily front and center of that story. It sounded like a multi-million-dollar Ponzi scheme, and he was kind of a small part of it because he only said he only got a couple of $1 million from it.
Dude, he was about to kill his whole family. Scheme? I mean, if it was only for $1 million, I mean, he went overboard on that.
So they missed that mark. They missed that mark with last episode with having that dinner at Drake's house, Drake Hunt or Jerry's. They needed to invite those three girls there.
Yeah. Let's continue to the Belinda, Greg Gary element of the show. Jeremiah, what did you have some thoughts on this one? Because I feel like you were really hoping that the Gary Glenn Gary would have what was Greg Gary? What's his name?
I think it's Gary.
Gary
Greg. Greg Hunt. Gary. Yeah.
Would have this huge part, and it's like it kind of like the rest of the season. It kind of went, oh.
Listen, like I'm happy that she was able to get on top of everything and be successful and everything. It just left a really sad taste in my mouth that she literally lost her moral code in selling her soul so she can get rich. Yes, you're going to get all this money. That's fantastic. But you're literally dealing with the devil right there. I mean, it just felt weird on that part.
So I have to disagree with that part. I'm sorry.
Good, Jared.
So she doesn't know Tanya's Jennifer Coolidge character more than maybe a weekend at Hawaii, right? And this girl promised her a Hawaii trip. Yeah, overall, she sold out, but overall, she's not best friends with her. She doesn't know what happened to her. She just bounced, right? So she has no obligation to this character unless if it was like a friend. But
can I ask,
in a way, Tanya, Jennifer Coolidge, promised her, hey, I'm going to help you open this up. So in a weird way, this is her way of opening it up. Because even Greg Hunt said, hey, my ex-wife would have wanted this.
Yeah, can I ask you a question, Jeremiah? Yeah. Did the dollar amount change your opinion of her giving up her moral clarity.
$100,000 and now it was $5 million. To me, it's just like, even though that they were not friends or they barely known each other. I mean, if you know a person who got murdered and someone comes up to you and like, hey, I'll pay you money to shut up. Do you lose a sense of your soul? And because you sold your soul for that? I mean, that's my question.
Well, I think Zion was the little devil on her shoulder. Without Zion there, she would have done the upright, morally ethical thing. But with Zion there, I mean, that guy was just...
I thought he was so arrogant.
100%, right? He's got the smooth talking business major from, wherever the hell he's at. That's just another thing to add to the tally of frustrations with this. I didn't like Zion's character. I didn't like anybody's character except for, of course, Chelsea, and we'll get there eventually. But Rick was just a wasted character. I just think that Belinda's storyline, it was interesting, but Eddie, I got to agree, man. Like, she knew her for a week, but at the same time, it's still talking about blood money, right? It's still talking about somebody who is changing the way that she has argued now for a whole 3 episodes. She goes back on what she says.
You can't call.
And Sean, I know that you're the dollar sign.
No,
the dollar sign makes your eyes light up.
Totally unethical. I would not have taken the money, but here's the thing. It's Schrodinger's money. So here's the reality of the situation. Either he committed the crime and killed her, or he didn't. So either the money is blood money, or he's actually doing a really nice thing and giving her money to go start her
spa without her guy.
Without her guy, because she just wants to be rich for a minute. So I don't necessarily believe, once again, that giving her money is indicative of his guilt. So until there is guilt of him actually committing the crime of hiring people to kill his wife, the money is not blood money. And therefore, it is ethical
Season
to
4.
take it.
Season 4. We'll find out.
As soon as there's any, guilt of him doing that, then it becomes blood money. So is it ethical?
We're
going to
talk about this in a season.
I don't know.
So that's one thing. There might be more story to Grade's character. Like, hey, there's something here that I can't, I'm still thinking he's with the FBI and he's like investigating White Lotuses. I don't know. Who knows? So he's like, I can't break this case. How much time did we
spend talking about all that shit? Like, he was this nefarious kingpin. Like, he's
in every fucking season.
He looked like Scarface at the end of the episode where he's just like at a party, sitting down by his throne, watching the parties and crazy thing going on, and he winks at his girl, and he's just like, he wins.
Belinda, we've talked about, I think enough. Let's move over to Guy Talk and Mook. And here's where I really think the wheels came off the season, because Belinda, okay, cool. Belinda, but Guy Talk totally went against everything he is. Totally went against everything he is. There's no Schrodinger's gun. He killed Rick when Rick was running away with Chelsea in his arms.
Yeah, promotion.
Yeah.
And then
I saw he got the girl in the end.
Glasses, he's got the black polo, and he's like, yeah, now I'm the driver, bitch. Now I'm the driver.
Yep. So I'm just going to go for it. I thought that was just the Guy Talk storyline has been the dumbest thing to me in all 3 seasons. The Mook character actually is the dumbest thing, because Mook has zero purpose except for, I guess, something for him to try to attain and try to look cool for, so that he could get the girl. But honestly, I saw somebody, a reel yesterday, trying to say, oh, everybody got what they wanted. Guy Talk got to have the cool persona and the new job that he wanted. I'm looking at it going, no, he's not. He was a Buddhist through and through. He wanted to quit because he didn't believe in violence. And here we're going to say, oh, he got what he wanted, and he's going to act and he's going to embrace it, right? He's going to embrace it and be all cool with it because he's the new bodyguard and the new driver, because he literally shot a person in the back, which completely goes against it. So, and I'm not, listen, I want to be clear. I'm not.
Shot.
Yeah, well, I'm not looking for to be preached to. I don't want me to feel good about my morals and ethics because every character does the right thing. That's not what I'm looking for. But I am looking at saying, okay, you've got a character who is so grounded in morality and ethics, and that's exactly the character that was created in Guy Talk, right? And then for us to go and make that leap, and we're supposed to, and I do think we're supposed to go, ooh, look at him. He got what he wanted. Good for him.
Oh, really?
Right? I don't think that this was, well, I think that's exactly his little smug piece of shit look at, and the glasses on at the end. I think that was him saying, oh, I got what I got.
I'm thinking this is all about the only person at the end of the day, the only two people that really owned themselves were Papa Ratliff and Carrie Coon. Those are the only two people who actually owned their shit and said, okay, I'm just going to put myself out there and here we go.
No, I agree. I agree. But what I'm saying is Guy Talk. Well, I'm going to say, no, Sean, you're right. But what Guy Talk is he's somebody who has embraced what happened and he's making the very, very best of it. And there's no regrets for him. That's what I'm seeing.
I think 5 years from now he'll have incredible regrets.
Oh well, 5 years, yes, but
he's going to wake up in the middle of the night with cold sweats from killing.
I sure as hell hope so, but we don't get to see that.
What would have been nice for his character, I'm just going to say it, is him when he wanted to quit then, right, and walk away at that moment. And at that time, that's when maybe there's a shooting happens, and then him maybe saving Mook in a weird way. Like
or
pushing her out
saving
of the way,
someone,
him taking a bullet, something stupid. So then, like in the end, he didn't ruin his moral compass, and he saved Mook, and then that's why they stayed together. But he quit his job because he's like,
or let him take out one of the guards.
Yeah.
At a small point in I was like, ooh, is God talk about to quit his job? He's just like, hey, I can't do this.
He
this
just
is
surrendered to the evil. He literally just surrendered to the evil. Jeremiah.
Well, Jared, then I got something.
Well, before that, I mean, seriously, what? He's going to be loyal to his coworker and the people that stole all that stuff at the resort, and nothing comes out of that. Oh, I'm sorry, they can't go back to their country and stuff. Like, what the fuck was that all about? What was the whole point of that?
No,
the heist. No. Was the heist? There was no heist.
No, I'll disagree. So, Jared, I'm going to disagree with you because and I think that this is again building towards Guy Talk as the character that we didn't get, and that's because he is somebody who is so worried about the quality of humans that he's saying, okay, so an object like jewelry being stolen, that is immoral, but what would be more immoral is putting somebody in danger.
You're okay with the whole storyline. Let's go back to that where the Guy Talk is literally figures out, like, he knows that the robbers and everything like that rob the resort, and you're saying that that's it? We get no conclusion, nothing like that.
That's the question for the entire season. But no, Jeremy, what I'm saying is that it shows Guy Talk to care more about human life and the quality of human life than a theft, right? Because
in one scene, and then the next scene he shoots
Valentine. Well, right. But all Valentine has to say is, this is going to put them, I'll be dead. They'll be dead. Okay. And he's saying, as a Buddhist, he embraces the importance of life and of humanity, right? So I get that. But then, of course,
don't get that because why would you even put those characters in this show if nothing comes out of it?
It's not about that, but why not take this episode and everything that happened in this episode and put it in the middle of the fucking season? Why not have it in the middle of the season and then work toward a even bigger conclusion? Because if you have Guy Talk have that conversation 4 episodes ago, and then if you have Carrie Coon have that revelation 2 episodes ago, if you have the Ratliff family almost dying 3 episodes ago, instead of all of a sudden, then you're building into something and you're changing the characters. I feel like what he did is he wrote to a crescendo, and the crescendo was like, nothing happens. Okay, now everything's going to happen in 1 episode. And it wasn't a payoff. It didn't give you what you needed. Guy Talk didn't, the argument you're making, Jeremiah, is the same argument that Brandon's making, is the same argument that Eddie's making, is Guy Talk did not spend the requisite time on screen devolving his character from Buddhist to, okay, the Russians to, okay, I'm going to kill a guy. It was 45 minutes, and then all of a sudden he went from 0 to villain.
Yeah, it was pointless with the whole Russians. It was all pointless. So they just got away with it, and they're just doing this for that's just what they do.
It seems like a lot of people got away with a lot of things in this.
I mean, they did. They kind of did.
Here's my thing, and I know I've said this time and time again. Probably now this is the 8th time I've said it. I was just having a conversation with Amanda this morning, talking about this and saying the exact same thing, but I have to repeat it because to me it is White Lotus, and I know that we can say, well, that's just what White Lotus does, or that's what Mike White does, and that's how it works. To me, that's bullshit. Is that you cannot have a season and say that a season is good because it's a slow, and I love slow burns. I love slow burn shows and stories, but you can't have it say, okay, nothing is going to happen. Nothing's going to happen for 7 hours and say it's a good show because things come to that head. They come to that crescendo, like Sean said, in a 30-minute period. To me, that one payoff is not enough to say, ooh, you know what? It made everything that came and preceded that, it made it all worth it. To me, it didn't make it worth it.
Unless it retcons the last 7 hours.
Unless it does.
And and I'm going to give you an example of a show that did that perfectly. Literally perfectly.
And then I got one after.
Arrested Development season 3. There was a character played by Charlize Theron, and she was not smart. She was less than intelligent. And you went through the whole season thinking she was a spy or some sort of secret agent, only to find out at the end that she was not smart. And that show did it beautifully. So if the reveal retcons the last 7 episodes into a revelation, I think that it can change.
So I feel like that's the White Lotus. The White Lotus effect here is where Mike White was trying to, I did it in season 1, it worked. I did it in season 2, it worked. And it's going to be the finale. Everyone was even, it's the finale. It's going to be bomb. It's going to be bomb. And it didn't hit. Mm-hmm. He like Sean was saying, I think what Brandon, you wanted, bro, this should have happened all long ago. And why not do something different? If you're White Lotus, you did it in season 1 and 2, do something different season 3. Don't have the finale be the finale. Do something like amazing in season episode 4 or 5. And like have it be like, why not kill somebody early? And have that be seen, and then it happens at the end of the very end. I don't know, something off the wall of what White Lotus has been doing.
Jeremiah, did it pay off for you?
This makes me lose hope.
Did it pay off for me? No, it just seems like he was just throwing in his face, like, and he keeps saying this during the interviews, like, I'm edging everyone. I'm edging the whole time. If you don't like it, get the fuck out. And I hate shit like that where you're telling me, oh, okay, so you know what? You're edging the whole time. If you're just going to copy like the blueprint from season 1 to season 2, then to me, you're just half-assing it. And if you're going to half-ass it, figure out something different, because it sounds like he said like something like, I'm not quoting this, or I thought I heard of this, like he had a fever and he dreamt like this whole season like scenario or something like that.
Yeah, I heard
and
that.
If that's the case, then you just kind of just went with it and that was it. And that's all, you just threw it out there. And to me, a lot of it didn't stick, man.
Jared's right. So listen, it's lazy storytelling, because if you look at storytelling, or at least storytelling over a long period, so a novel or a TV show, not necessarily a movie even, but you have these rising, right? You get the climax, and then you have the resolution, and then it goes back up, right? All he does is he just has rising action the entire thing, from season or episode 1 all the way to half of episode 8. We have just rising action. There's no development, and I'm just saying character development, but there's no plot development. There's no storyline development. It's going up. It's just building up to one thing. And guess what? Anybody, I don't care, a 5-year-old can tell you a story that goes on forever and ever and ever, and it has one little punchline. You're like, ooh, that's it. I know the twists in Lost pissed a lot of people off, but what I loved about that, and I'm going to compare Lost to White Lotus right now, is that most people had seen some of these twists, these big twists of White Lotus coming through. Oh, what's his name is actually Rick's dad. Or, he's going to kill him. Right. Yeah. Or this and that. And that. Right. What I loved about Lost is nobody saw, hey, you know what? It's a black smoke monster. Or, hey, you know what? It's this entity that lives on the island that is, that needs the white to combat the black. Now, you can hate that. That's fine. But what it did is it completely sidelined us. You mentioned Arrested Development. I'm saying Lost is something that nobody saw coming. And if you are going to build an entire season off the predicate that we are going to have this one monumental, climactic, oh my God moment, then it needs to be off the wall. It needs to be bonkers. It needs to be gonzo. It has to be fabulous, or it has to be hiding underneath absolute bonkerness, right? I would rather have had me go, what the hell was that? Right? This sounds dumb. I would have rather had Guy Talk be the mass murder, because it would have just been so catch us out of
interesting,
nowhere.
right?
I'd rather you swing away than looking at a third strike right there. I hate shit like that. And so to me, just swing away. If you miss, you miss, but at least I can give you some props on that.
And I don't mean to say that that's the formula every show needs to follow, because then that's boring. But at least take a little bit of that from it, right? You can't just have monotone. You can't just keep it. You can't just keep us quote unquote edging without any payoff. So
Let's talk about the Ratliffs. Let's talk about that family right there. Okay, I just want to tell you, dude, that whole fucking blender thing. And when he decides to just go and you reuse the blender, knowing it's completely fucking shit inside it, that is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. I'm like,
it
you know what?
contradicts Lachlan.
It's just, I was just like, are you fucking kidding me? You're not going to wash it. Why would you do that?
Who doesn't wash their blender?
So my mom made a good point about that. She said that he was so upset that he wasn't able to have a pina colada from the night before that he wanted to try it in his shake. And I'm like, yeah, that's a nice cover for that. But he poured that.
That would have been cool.
He poured that powder in, and then was like, oh fuck, there's something else. All right, well, it's okay. We'll just let it go. Even after his dad said the milk was bad. I totally agree with Brandon. It was anti-Lachlan. It was against his whole character. But you had that, and that was, I don't mean to pick on Mike White and this season, but that seemed to be the theme of this season, is that the characters gave up who they were without any development whatsoever. Guy Talk changed his character fundamentally in a moment based on nothing.
There's one person that I felt like that kind of developed, and that's the older brother, Satson.
I agree
because because there was moments as like he started to read this book that Chelsea gave him, and you started seeing that it started. I mean, he started like being a big brother to Lachlan in a weird way, even though he had no need to do that anymore. That conversation was gut wrenching between him and his brother. I was like, oh, how are we gonna pull this off? But then also him and talking about Chelsea, and then talking about the books, and you saw this, like, he had this understanding that, like, I'm over being who I was, and I'm trying. Let's try to be somebody new. And you got this idea of, like, he was almost embarrassed in front of Piper too. Like, that's where, like, I'm not reading nothing. And he never even told her what he was reading, because he was almost like he doesn't know what to do. But overall, I see this development of him in the Ratliff family. I liked it for him.
I did love that the dad tested all of his family to see who could live without money, and decided that Lachlan was the only one who could live without money. Because one of my favorite parts of the show was the daughter absolutely just falling apart that she wanted to.
We all knew that was going to happen. We all knew it.
And the look on fucking Victoria Ratliff's face was priceless. She's sitting there at the table, and the daughter is going on and on about how she can't handle the air conditioning, and she's just got this, like, it's this proud mama bear. Oh my gosh, you're rich like
I knew it.
And it's just, that's okay, not something to be proud about.
Did he just get the thumbs up from her?
Yeah. Dude, I saw this thing online where they're like, what's going to happen for season 4? And this person goes, next year, the Ratliffs is visiting Shit Creek or something like that.
So let me ask you a question. Do you think that the episode and the end of the season would have been better if Lachlan had stayed dead? Because that's the big debate right now.
Yes.
It's like, did they need to bring him back? Okay, Eddie, you got yes?
I feel like that. I say yes, because that would have been a surprising with the dad, everyone, just the one person that he wanted, that he didn't give the pina colada shade, actually is the one that died. So it's like, that's the fault on the dad for even trying to kill his family. So I thought that would have been a twist a little bit.
So what I liked about the way that it played out is that he finally owned his shit. He finally, like, at the end of the show, he was like, we're going to get through this as a family. Like, he realized that no matter how rich they were, how spoiled they all were, they were still a family, and that he was going to, basically confess to everything, and it was going to be hard, but they were going to get through it. And I think that this is, I don't know. It felt like the Ratliff storyline wrapped up the best it could under the circumstances, and killing Lachlan would only have made it, like, just, it would have left a really bad taste in my mouth. If that makes any sense.
To be quite honest, I didn't care if he lived or died because I just thought it was just really like, okay, like it felt like, oh, you're just throwing this at us, like, oh, this is going to happen and this is going to happen. And to be quite honest, I didn't like how it wrapped up with the storyline. Like, he's going to tell him like, we're all going to get through this. Not one time did he actually own up and go, hey, this is what I did. He'd rather just let them read it and then that's it. Yeah. To me, I was like, oh, that's bullshit, dude. But the whole time, like, you've been trying to build this up, you've been trying to kill your family, and all of a sudden, you're just like, here's your phones. Okay. Just read it, rather than actually own it up and actually say it to their face. I thought that was kind of shit.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, I look at it and say, well, if Sean, we're talking about this as a show about rich people getting the comeuppance and us laughing in their failures and their miseries, right? Which is kind of what we said White Lotus is kind of built upon. Then to me, that would have been the absolute climactic moment is you've got Papa Ratliff who realizes that his actions and his, his pride and his richness was what killed his son. I'm not saying his favorite son, but killed his innocent son, right?
I'm not sure.
And to me, that would have been
true.
that would have been the ultimate. That would have been to me the ultimate. And Eddie, right? That would have been the ultimate. Like, oh shit, he actually got.
Then there's got to be a different way that he died. Oh, because none of what you said led to Lachlan's death. His arrogance had nothing to do with leading to Lachlan's death. Because I'm sorry. Listen, if I were to ever poison somebody and I have second thoughts, I'm getting rid of evidence, not just like pouring it down the sink, but let's swig out that little blender and just kind of dump it. Let's do a little.
Also took a sip of it. So do you not get any type of?
Well, it probably knocked him out. Knocked him out at night. I mean, it's like taking a Xanax.
Just getting some lorazepam. Yeah, she finally got it.
Yeah. It was interesting that. So that's where Tim Ratcliffe. I feel like they missed the mark a little bit on his what came about with they put so much into embezzlement and Ponzi scheme. I kind of wanted to know like what happened. Like is it I wanted him to see the phone and just be like, fuck.
Once again, they resolved it without resolving it.
Yeah, it's just like I wanted to see it because the son, Satson's the one that he looked at his phone and he looked at his dad.
That's all we got.
Right. But I don't know if that's what it was.
I think, Brandon,
that's the only thing I got.
To support your thought, if he would have made a daiquiri for himself or whatever, a pina colada for himself, gone to the bathroom and Lachlan drank it while he was out there, then Lachlan dies, then he looks at his phone and he's exonerated, then I'm with you. That's fuck you rich people.
That's some
you
fucking missed shit. Yeah.
It's still kind of fucked you to him because he literally went by all his family members and he's like, no, little young, you're going to be fine. I'm going to kill these guys. You're going to live. So, I mean, seriously.
Could you imagine the trauma?
If he would have died, it would have been like the ultimate karma. Like, oh, like you deserve that shit because you decided to do that, man. Fuck with the universe.
What kid has never had a pina colada? I mean, come on.
Come on. Pina coladas. All right, we're running short here. Let's talk about the last couple, which is Rick and Chelsea and the confrontation between Scott Glenn. I will say two things about this. Number one, at least Scott Glenn had some lines, and I will say that his delivery of those lines was awesome. He was sinister and mean and like, I mean, at least I understand.
Old man, he's a mean old man.
But at least he had like some substance in the show. And then you had kind of I saw Chelsea go down really early. Did anyone else see Chelsea go down?
I did too.
I'm just like,
I saw her in the background, and I'm like, why are you not hiding behind that fucking gong?
She's standing up,
like,
right? She's literally just standing there.
I'm just gonna say 3 episodes, 3 hours of time during the season. Not one time the old man could have just give 5 seconds and tell Rick, "I'm your father." What the fuck is that all about, dude? You're going to get it at the very end. I mean, right after that, Rick, your father, Anakin Skywalker, he owns the fucking resort. Why are you fucking chilling at the resort, knowing that the possibility he can actually bring people and hunt you down? You should have got the fuck out of Dodge, bring Chelsea, and that would have been it. I didn't understand that when I was like watching the like why are you there?
I think it's his arrogance.
Just me
Yeah.
Especially with the beautiful scene they had when Chelsea says we're going to be together forever, and he agrees. And I thought that was such a magical,
He's like, that's the plan.
I'm like, oh, this
So good.
season is really
That was her
fixing
death
itself.
sentence.
Like, it felt so good. And then all of a sudden, the next second, he's like, oh, there's the old man, and now I need a gun, and I'm going to kill him.
God, dude.
Yep. Now I need to go hide and decide what to do. And so when she got up off the table, I was like, oh, fuck, she's dead. Like instantly, as soon as
grabbed a donut.
I follow him right now.
And I don't mind.
She grabbed a donut. I love you, Chelsea.
I don't mind her dying, but the way she died and the way that Rick just, once again, Rick had gone through
White
his,
Lotus's
he had gone
death.
through his, I don't know, whatever you call his wave, right? He had the anger in Bangkok. He let it go. He was becoming a better person. And why not just let it go? Why not just let it let that storyline linger and focus on another storyline? I don't know.
Fuck.
No, I'm going to complain about one
stealing
thing.
character,
Yeah.
the character that stole the show was Sam Rockwell. Once again, chasing him in his underwear down
that scene?
chasing him in the underwear down.
That scene was awesome.
Somersault.
Him stabbing like a doll. Like, what was that?
I'm going to call it. Sam Rockwell is going to win an Emmy. For that.
Oh,
yeah.
He should. No, I'm going to complain about it, and I mean this goes beyond Mike White's lazy writing. It goes beyond the unfulfilled storylines that literally pop up everywhere. And I think Walton Goggins, I think he's a great actor. I really do. I think that he played his part really well. Whether I agree with how his character kind of developed, it doesn't matter. But I got to be honest, when he has that moment of seeing Chelsea dead, I don't know about you guys, but I thought that the acting of that was so unbelievably, and when I say unbelievably bad, it was bad because it was so unbelievable. It was like, Chelsea, no, Chelsea. And maybe we can chalk it up to shock, and maybe we can chalk it up to surprise and whatever. But to me, I thought, when you have an actor of this quality, don't use that take. Do another take. Get a little bit more frantic, because honestly, it just seemed so pointless. And then he carries the body. I thought that was just a really weak scene that took me out of it.
Yeah, I expected more on that. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Yeah. I kind of agree with Brandon and Jeremy here. Like I wanted. It seemed a little bit like I almost want. She was just when you turned around, she was just laying there.
Yeah.
I was just like, I wanted her almost to be like up against the corner and just like looking at herself a little bit and like this was supposed to be our forever. What happened? I'd say something. I wanted her to say one more line, and I wanted to hit, like what happened to our forever?
Say, like, what have you done?
Yeah, I mean, like, have you ever seen Godfather 3?
No.
Oh God.
Oh, yeah, you don't need to.
Okay, but the ending is fucking remarkable, and there's a scene there that it is so hardcore of just pain and emotion of a situation that happens, something similar like that, and it is unbelievable. That's what I was kind of hoping out of that whole situation between Rick and Chelsea, man.
The movie's been out for 100 years.
Listen.
What happened?
Really? Okay. Sorry, listeners. Michael Corleone loses his daughter. The daughter gets shot right out of the steps. He's looking at her, and she's like, oh my God. And then he's like holding her to his clothes, and he yells and he screams, but you don't hear the scream. You just feel his pain, but you hear no scream because you hear the music on top of it. And then the last part of it is his scream, and you just hear like his soul's coming out of his mouth, dude. And that's exactly what I thought you should have got the whole situation like that for that scene right there, dude.
Let me Sean this real quick and tell me if you guys like this. Ready? He sees Chelsea. He puts the gun up to his head, realizes he's lost it all, right? No. And of course, no, just Sean, wait. I'm going to Sean the hell out of this, and you're going to be like, oh God, this makes sense. He puts it up and click, he's out of bullets because of course he is. He just shot, 27 rounds, right? At that point, he turns around. Guy Talk's got him in the sights, right? And he just looks at Guy Talk and he says, please. And Guy Talk at that point shoots. And in that sense, Guy Talk is relieving Rick of his pain. And so you get him doing
that. He's got to raise the gun. He's got to raise the gun at Guy Talk a little bit so the Guy Talk has a predicate to shoot him.
That works. Fine.
I should have known that Chelsea was going to die, literally, because she's like one of my favorite characters. Every favorite character in every White Lotus season always dies.
I actually think you said like 3 episodes ago. I think you said, "I really hope she doesn't die. She's like the only character that I care about." I'm like,
foreshadow everything.
Jeremiah.
She gone.
Oh, Jeremiah.
Foreshadow everything like that.
She is the character that everyone cared about, so that's why she died.
Yeah.
Last thing is
They
that she
made
kept
that.
wearing this necklace, Stay Gold, throughout the whole season, which I didn't pay attention to.
Stay golden.
Stay Gold. That's what Johnny told Pony Boy before he died. I should have fucking known better. Fuck.
Come on, Pony Boy.
And that brings us to the end of our review. Now it's time of the podcast where each of the hosts provides a score on the following scale. Greg Hunt, can you please provide our scale?
Yes. 0, the perfect episode. You don't need shit to enjoy it. A 1, a feel-good first trot tell. 2, a happy buzz. 3, you're gonna Uber or lifting home. 4, a rough morning watch of shame. 5, blackout, shit face, spring break drunk.
I'll go first on this. I'll go first on this one.
No,
We're all going
Sean,
together.
we are not season 1 through 3, buddy.
Why do we do this?
Come on
why,
now.
Why do I do this every episode? I forget we do this.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what to go for.
Still a good episode.
Here we go.
1,
3,
2,
2.
3.
All right.
Okay. Jer, I appreciate you, buddy.
All right, I'll go first.
Appreciate you.
So I think that this was an episode that did everything it possibly could to redeem a shitty season. And I think that in some ways it succeeded, in a lot of ways it failed. But at the same time, it was nice that it was nice to see the effort after just so long of trash. The characters in the season were not developed, and I think that if I had to go give this an overall rating, it would be in the 3s, probably in the 3s, 3.1, 3.2 of a total season. It was enjoyable at points, but then it was a lame duck for most. So for me, this episode kind of was almost the best episode of the season in a lot of ways. And it's hard for me to punish this episode for the whole season. And this is where I think Brandon is correct. You can't withhold bad scoring for a season. So it's really hard. You're in a catch-22 here. So if I had to go back and add points to the season, I think I'd add a full drink to this whole season overarching. But at the same time, I think this episode was one of the better ones. We talked about all the characters got wrapped up, whether you liked it or not. Everybody had an ending, which bravo for that. The endings were organized and well done. The episode was well done. I think the acting was good. I think Carrie Coon's monologue was an outstanding shining piece to this. I think that, Belinda had her moment in the sun. I think every character got something and added to the show. But at the end of the day, it's just average. I'm just going to give this episode an average because I feel like the season was just blah. It was just average. There was nothing spectacular about anything that happened. So I give it a 2.5.
I agree with a lot of what Sean's saying. I mean, there are great moments in this episode where the actors totally excel. Carrie Coon, Sam Rockwell. It was a really good end in how the series or the season ended here. However, I think the finale fell so flat with the storylines. It was all this tension, and then it just fizzled out. A lot of the endings of the storylines was just left ambiguous, and I just don't want that, especially this. It just didn't make sense from going to point A to point B to point C to point D. It just didn't make sense to me, a lot of it, And I kind of blame Mike White. I don't think he knew exactly what was going on with this season, I mean, he's going to go, yeah, I knew it exactly. But you know what? It just seemed like it was just not much heart into it. And that's what's kind of frustrating because I really wanted more out of this. So that's why I didn't give it for a 4 or 5. I think it was just of an average episode. So it's a 3.5 for me, man. It's a Uber lifting home, and I'm going to have a shot with it. I was really disappointed with the season finale. I didn't want to, make the whole series pay for it and everything like that because Sean's right. It's a good season. It did what it needed to do, but it just didn't land the final part, and that makes me upset about it. So it's a 3.5 for me.
So what Sean was saying is it's a good episode, but the season as a whole was not hitting, right? So I'm going to go with a little bit with the same type of idea of I don't want to bash this episode, even though I want to bash the season. They failed on the season. This episode, they need something. They need more twists. They can't wait till the finale, as White Lotus's wait to the finale, because that's old news now. That you can't do that for 4 seasons. You did that for the third, and it's not hitting. Now, with that being said, it was the better episode out of all the seasons. It's almost like you were able to, it's very bland story. You were able to pick apart everything that was happening, and you were able to guess, like, oh, I knew that was happening. That was happening.
Yeah.
That was happening. That was happening. Mike White needs to get up with his listeners and his viewers. They're on top of it. They are guessing every single thing, and that's not good storytelling anymore if you're going to start doing that. So I do like a lot of Carrie Coon's character. I like Walter Goggins and Chelsea, how that wrapped up. A little bit of the Ratliffs. I don't like Valentine and the Russians, how they just got away with it. And then I also don't like Guy Tok, how he did sell out, completely sold out. And then the last character, the concierge guy, the one that just dived in the water, like
Fabian,
completely waste of character the whole time. So there was waste of characters there, but there was some solid acting in parts with Sam Rockwell and Carrie Coon's character. Like this episode, I do think this is the better episode of the season, but I don't think it was the best. So I'm going to still say it was better than average for me. I don't want to hurt the episode for the whole season, but it's a 1.78 for me. It's a weird score because it's a weird episode for me to grade. So I'm going to say this is a feel good first cocktail with almost a happy buzz. 1.78.
All right, and so to get the last word, which I'm surprised about, this has been a frustrating 8 weeks for me, as most of you guys can probably guess, right? This is something that to me it culminates in just kind of a fizzle. Now, here's the thing. I don't think that, me not liking and agreeing with the ends of some of the characters makes it a bad episode or a bad season or a bad, ending or whatever. It has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with the way that we got there. And I do mean that for the season, but I also mean that for the episode. To me, this is a season and an episode of just contradictions that just don't make sense. I don't understand. I really mean it. I don't understand this resolution that we have of the 3 women. I don't understand Guy Tok. I don't understand the Ratliff ending. There are resolutions, but at the same time, there's a whole lot of ambiguity that, it doesn't all need to be cleaned up. But at the same time, we do need to have some kind of understanding of why we invested our time into these characters. For me, you have to either love a character or hate a character, but actually give a shit what happens to them. And with the exception of Chelsea, I didn't care, right? Like, kill them, save them, it didn't matter, right? Not a single character outside of Chelsea was one that I actually gave a shit about. And to me, that means that the writing, the directing, and the acting wasn't at a par that it should have been. And it was a fizzle out to me. This whole season has been a fizzle out. I'll still watch season 4. I'll still have hope in it. But at the same time, if we get another season like this, I probably won't be tuning in for season 5. The reality is we don't assign a drink to these episodes here, but if we did have a drink, it would be a spiked pina colada with some tasty death fruit to it. And I would be having 3.69 of those. And the reason I did 3.69 is because things come in threes. You see what I did there? 3.69.
Yep.
So we're doing 3.69. That is lifting, Ubering home with a shot and then another shot and a little spillover.
All right, Jeremiah, when we take those, Ed, when we take those 4 scores and divide by 4, what does season 3, episode 8 of White Lotus get an average rating of?
I'm really sad not hearing that anymore. So it gives us a 2.8675, just below an average episode.
So Jeremiah, when we add that into the season, where does this episode rank among the episodes?
It's the second worst episode of season 3.
See, and it's not, and that's what's sad.
But Sean,
it's okay. No,
but
you're
here's
right.
the thing: it culminates, right?
No, I agree.
But no, it's
a
culmination.
But this isn't this is the problem that I mean, we're in a catch-22. I totally get it. So for the season, what does the season get an average rating of?
The series average for season 3, White Lotus, is a 1.821.
See, and that's too.
See, and that's the problem, Sean. That's the problem.
We should rated really low in those when the brothers were.
Somebody shouldn't have said, "Ooh, Brandon, that's such a bad score. You should have changed that score." And then I fucking acquiesced to you guys.
Well, let's put it this way: out of the 5 series that we have actually recorded, it is the 4th worst different TV shows that we have reviewed here.
What's worse?
3.5 Gentlemen.
What's worse?
What's worse is the Last of Us. That series average has a 1.918.
Here we go with season 2.
And let's come back for season 2.
Here we go with season 2.
Why did we say yes to that?
We don't have to. We could change.
Still haven't yet.
All right. If you enjoyed this season,
We'll
drop
watch
us
the first episode, and then we'll actually go and do that.
If you enjoyed this season, drop us a DM on Instagram at the Gentleman Podcast. You can visit us on YouTube, where you can see all of our movie podcasts live and in person. You can go wherever we are on where podcasts are offered, and you can see our 150 movie and TV show episodes deep.
You can listen to us on all major platforms that you can listen to your podcast. There we go.
That's good. And once again, thank you for listening and tuning into this season. I know it's been an up and down season, but we are going to hopefully jump into The Last of Us season 2 unless it's total trash. And we absolutely will bring in Wednesday season 2 and Stranger Things the final season, which we're very much looking forward to. So with that, I will say thank you all, and cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers. Let's drink some pina coladas, guys.
Hey, do you guys like that song that they were